Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Swami Army preview of the Asia Cup 2014. My name is Kartik, and alongside me we have two special guests. One regular guest who we see all the time, and that is Angadh. Welcome to you once again.
Thanks, Kartik. It's always a pleasure to be on here.
Fantastic. Always great to have you on board. And our special guest for today, all the way from Bangladesh, he's Cricinfo's Bangladesh correspondent, and he will be covering the Asia Cup this year for ESPNCricinfo. It's Isam Mohammad. Isam, welcome to you.
Hi, Kartik. It's a pleasure to be here.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for your time, Isam. We know you're a very busy man and a lot of reporting and covering to do, so we won't take too much of your time and get straight into it. But for all the Indian fans out there, unfortunately, luckily we've moved on from the New Zealand tour, a very poor New Zealand tour from an Indian perspective, a winless New Zealand tour, but nevertheless, we move on to the next biggest challenge for Team India, and that is the Asia Cup that has actually commenced already tonight with Pakistan playing Sri Lanka. But for India, they'll play the host team Bangladesh tomorrow night here Australian time. So we're very much looking forward to that match. And we're seeing a very young team, Team India this time, especially led by Virat Kohli. We're not going to see MS Dhoni leading the side this time. Obviously, he has pulled out due to an injury, so it'll be a good chance, Angadh, for Kohli to step up and see how good of a captain he can be.
Yes, definitely. Tomorrow will be his ninth one-day international as captain, and so far he's captained India in two series against a tri-series against West Indies and Sri Lanka last year after the Champions Trophy win, and then against Zimbabwe, and he's won 7, lost 1. So a good start so far for his captaincy, and he is, as many see, as the captain in waiting for once Dhoni does decide to put up the glove. So it'd be definitely a good challenge for him with a young team and against some very strong competition in the likes, especially Pakistan and Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka in absolutely great form at the moment. So it will be a good Asia Cup. I mean, usually the Asia Cup sort of put down as one of those events that is regarded as meaningless, but I think in the context of world cricket at the moment, it's very meaningful, especially with the World Cup coming up and teams like Afghanistan, craving more international competition. So it should be a good tournament.
Absolutely, and I guess Isam, from your perspective, being in Bangladesh right now and seeing all the vibe around the country for the tournament, is it a big deal over there, or is it just another tournament that we're seeing with the Asian teams play?
For anyone who's covered cricket in Bangladesh or has watched cricket in Bangladesh, they would say that any cricket series is big. Excuse me. I think the Asia Cup has always been big in Bangladesh. It was held in '88, 2000, 2012, as you very well know. It is quite a big tournament because Pakistan and India have a huge following over here. Sri Lanka has been playing in Bangladesh for the last 1 month, and Afghanistan is this huge interest on Afghanistan because Afghan players have played in Dhaka, in the Dhaka Premier League and in the BPL. So the Asia Cup is huge in Bangladesh. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask you, Afghanistan. They seem to be the talk of the world right now. They've qualified for the World Cup, and now they're in the Asia Cup as well. What are people talking about this team? Do they believe that they will be potentially win a few games and maybe even turn some heads?
Afghanistan wouldn't tell you that they're here to win games. They're here to assess their position as an associate country. Mohammad Nabi had a press conference yesterday where he said that Afghanistan doesn't really have a target, but they're quite happy that Bangladesh will be playing without Shakib Al Hasan 3 matches. So I think they're targeting Bangladesh in a way because Bangladesh is also already a little wary of Afghanistan because these two teams, according to their rankings and everything, they're quite close to each other. So I don't think people are expecting Afghanistan to beat the big boys, but they'll definitely give a fair contest. That Misbah-ul Haq said, I think Virat Kohli said the same thing, that Afghanistan is someone that they're going to be a little careful of.
Yeah, definitely. Afghanistan, I mean, we've seen in the last few World Cups that the minnows have, beaten the big boys, so you know what could happen. And Islam, I just wanted to find out from you, how in Bangladesh at the moment, are they visual? I mean,
Sorry, could you repeat the question? I could not hear you. It's gone off a little.
How are the pitches looking?
I think Angad's,
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Angad's having a bit of a technical difficulty there. I guess what he's asking is how the pitch is looking there in Bangladesh. Are we going to see some ranked turners, or are we going to see some fast-paced traffic, or what's the pitch is going to be like over there?
Right, I heard you. Fatullah has a newly laid surface. It is going to be very flat. It's going to be the typical sort of batting wicket that we get in the subcontinent with little turn. The dew will be quite an interesting factor because the winter has ended in Bangladesh. It's the start of the season, and there is dew in the air after 7 o'clock in the evening, which you might not know. It's a day-night game, so there's going to be a problem. In Mirpur, it's going to be a little. It'll have some carry, but again, it won't be a rank turner. It won't be a really quick wicket. It'll definitely be very much in the favor of the batsman. Mashrafi Mortaza just told me today that it's going to be very difficult if India can knock off something like 300 or something. The Bangladeshi bowlers are not up to the mark of the last 1 month, so I think they are a little wary that it won't be a sport wicket.
Okay, so you're expecting a lot of high scores throughout the tournament?
Most definitely, a lot of high scores,
Okay, well, that certainly bodes well for Team India, especially with their batting lineup. Now, Angad, speaking of Team India's batting lineup, are we going to see any major changes? It's good to see that Chiteswar Pujara is in the squad finally. I know you've been calling for him to be in the one-day squad for a while now, and so finally your wishes have been granted. So, are we going to see any other major changes, or is it just going to be a similar sort of batting lineup of full strength minus MSD?
Number 4 spot has become available for all selectors. I've looked past Yuvraj Singh and now even Suresh Raina. I've seen him coming 4. I would like him to be at 3 and Kohli pushed down to 4, but I think Kohli's very two spinners, but since we've heard that the pitches are going to be flat, I think Ashwin and Jadeja should suffice, and Mishra will be carrying the drinks, I guess. But other than that, Ishant Sharma has been left out, so we might see Varun Aaron play more games than he did in New Zealand.
Yeah, I think so. I think we should definitely be given a chance now, especially with the World Cup coming up in 12 months' time. I think it's good for Team India to try all sorts of different combinations, whether it be 3 pace and 2 spinners, or 4 pace, 1 spinner, or even 3 pace, 1 spinner. These are the games and tournaments that we should try and see, what the combinations will work. Isam, a question for you. What do you think should be you've mentioned that it's most likely going to be a high-scoring tournament. From a bowling perspective, what do you see as the best type of bowling combination? Like, will it be teams need to play 2 spinners, or can they get away with playing just the 1 spinner and 3 seamers?
Is it a question to me? Sorry, I don't catch you. Yeah, I think India has the right kind of spinners in Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin. I don't think Amit Mishra will be picked here because he hasn't bowled too well in Bangladesh in the past. They have to pick 2 spinners in Bangladesh. You have to pick 2 spinners because seam attacks, maybe a bit of reverse, but if they're bowling at night, it won't reverse at all. So I think a couple of seamers and a couple of spinners would be what all teams would try. Sri Lanka tried a lot of seam bowlers because of Bangladesh's weakness against short bowling. They tried it with Dhamika Prasad. It worked in the third ODI. So maybe Mohammad Shami and Varun Aaron could be good options. But I think overall, India would definitely push for two spinners. Any team would push for at least two spin bowlers.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see how it all works out.
I think that's where India has the... I think that's where India's fortunate to have the luxury of Jadeja, who has been performing with the bat a little bit.
Absolutely. And speaking of from a tournament perspective as a whole, I know obviously it's going to be a big series for all 5 teams performing. One question, Isam, we haven't heard much of UAE performing, UAE playing in this tournament. They've been in the last couple of Asian Cups. Is there any inside news, any inside mail you have for us about that?
They have qualified for the World T20s, and I think they qualified for the Asia Cup. The 2 times that they were in the Asia Cup, Hong Kong I think also qualified. This time Asian Cricket Council did not go for a qualification process or anything. They just wanted to give Afghanistan a feel for the big time cricket, because they have to play against bigger opposition, because they are playing in the World T20 and also the 2015 World Cup. So I think that was the reason. That's probably why Afghanistan have made it, and they're quite a good team. So I think that's where ACC make the choice.
Do you think that's the start of the new ICC revolution that's going to be happening, starting from the Asian Cup?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. But again, as you know, Asian teams are huge.
Absolutely. I think that's a discussion for another day. We won't get into that one tonight. Now, Angadh, from the overall tournament perspective, who do you think? Which team do you think will be the standout team and will take it out? I think I have a fair idea of which team you're going to mention, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Give us your prediction for the tournament winner, and also which player will be the man of the series, man of the tournament.
Look, I think the tournament's actually quite open. I mean, the last time it was played in Bangladesh, India failed to make the final, and so did Sri Lanka. I mean, it was contested between the host nation Bangladesh and Pakistan in what was a thriller. So I think, honestly speaking, it's open between Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and India. I mean, Pakistan on their day can beat anyone, and Sri Lanka, they've had the added advantage of being in Bangladesh for the last month or so they're more acclimatized to their surroundings there, and they're just in great form at the moment. So I think it will come down to those 3. I would want India and Pakistan to play in the final, just because that's what every cricket fan wants to see. But yeah, I can't pinpoint who the winner would be, but my heart says India. And in terms of player of the tournament, I mean, it's once again there's 5 teams to pick from. But if we was, I'll be the Swami Army person here, and I will pick Captain Virat Kohli to be India's player of the tournament.
I was hoping you'd go along similar lines. Actually, that's what I was expecting. Hopefully now we'll have a bit more of a non-biased view from Isam. Isam, give us your tournament winner and also man of the tournament, who you believe will be the standout player.
I agree with Angadh that Sri Lanka has been in Bangladesh for a while. Pakistan are always a dangerous side, and India are a young side. But I think I'll agree with Angadh in this case, because I think India has probably not the best bowling attack, but they have the drive, I think, to prove that a young India can beat Pakistan and Sri Lanka. In that case, I think they have the extra edge, the extra sort of motivation that they wanted. They don't have the big players anymore. They don't have the Sachin or the Dravid or even Dhoni, not even Yuvraj Singh. So I think it's a huge motivation for Virat Kohli. They could fail, but I think that's one motivation for them. Talking about Bangladesh, I think they have a lot of issues to deal with, and they are slightly more focused on. I think they're a little more focused on the World T20. I'll be very honest with you. All their resources are driven towards that tournament. So I think it will be between. Right now, Pakistan are not doing too well against Sri Lanka as we speak. So Pakistan's bowling is a little weak. India is also a little iffy. So Sri Lanka probably would definitely be one of those contenders. Probably will play the final, and yeah, India should be there as well. And as for my player of the tournament, I think it will be Kumar Sangakkara.
Fantastic. There we go. And I think I'm going to stick with the tune here, as I always do, expecting India to win the tournament, bounce back from a poor New Zealand tour that we had, a winless New Zealand tour. Well, I expect India to win this tournament quite comfortably, even despite having a very young and inexperienced team. The standout player for me, though, I actually think he will be Dinesh Kartik. He's got his chance again, something to prove. He doesn't get much opportunity given that MS Dhoni is the keeper captain. So now that he's injured, Dinesh has a very good chance to stamp his authority and cement his place in the squad. So I think this series will definitely be a big one for him, and hopefully he can, if not already, cement his place as the next wicketkeeper to take over after MS Dhoni. But that's all we have time for, everybody. Thank you very much for watching tonight. A special thank you to Isam Mohammed, all the way from Bangladesh, ESPNCricinfo's. We really appreciate your time. You know, you've got a very busy schedule, so thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much to both of you, Angadh and Kartik. It was great having a chat with you about the Asia Cup.
Absolutely. Thanks very much. And also, thank you very much, Angadh, once again, as always. Until next time, guys, we'll be back at the end of the tournament to wrap it all up, to give you a review, and hopefully celebrating another victory for Team India. Until then, we'll speak to you then, but also make sure you check out the SwamiArmy.com website, our Facebook page, our Twitter page, all the social media for all the details of the upcoming World Cup as well, where Team India will be definitely one of the contenders again, especially to back up and regain the World Cup trophy again. We'll look forward to that. Until then, we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.